Good morning, everybody. It's day 7. It's walk talk time. We're going to do things a little different today. I'm not going to use my watch to track everything as much because we're already partially through the day. And so what we're going to be using, we're going to use our pedometer. So I'm just going to reset that right now. And that goes right in my pocket, right up against my upper thigh on my compression pants. So let's get going. Different today, so we're day 7 into this. It's been a couple of days, but I didn't have to work early today, so I'm working later in the day, so I was able to get my kids up and going and out the door. So right now we're doing 1 out of 7 intervals. We're doing a cool pace right now, just to warm up for 5 minutes, and then we're going to do a series of 5 minutes of cool, 3 minutes of burn, 5 minutes of cool as our interval sessions we're going to be doing today. We're going to be doing it for about an hour. We're going to shoot for around 7,000 steps. That's going to help kind of get us to our 10,000 step goal, hopefully today. So we're going to see. I have a new stabilization system that I'm using, so hopefully things are a little bit more stable, maybe a little less noisy. It's a great day today. Nice and sunny, not windy yet. We've had a tremendous amount of Santa Ana winds lately. Lots of fires in Southern California. So it's a good day. I think it's a good thing to do is to mix your sessions up, get some daytime in. We need that vitamin, D from that sun. So it's good to do some daytime sessions. And that's what we're doing right now. We're going to soak in that morning sun for the next hour. Today, I'm using some old Merrell shoes. I'm just having a lot of problems with that heel piece, right where my Achilles is at, on my Skechers that I just got. It's not soft enough in the back there. These Merrells, they're a lot less cushioning, but the heel on the back, that Achilles area, man, it's not as high, it's not as stiff. So I'm kind of thinking I need to have, if it's high in the back there, at least it needs to be flexible, because it's just not working out for me. So we'll see how these do today. Got 2 minutes left in our warm-up session before our burn starts. I'd like to say some good news. Could be better, but good news is I'm down right at 4 pounds right now. And the reason why I say it could be better is I haven't been really good. One, I haven't been really good about going on my walks every day. That's number one. Number two, I haven't been really good just about eating either, which that just happens, like Dad, I have a little rattle somewhere. Not sure where that's at. Oh, that's where it's at. Oh, I meant to tape that off. Oh, well, I was told that. Anyway, haven't been really good about my eating recently, and that's why I say it could be better. But still, I haven't been able to hit it every single day on my walks, but it's been a pretty consistent, like every other day, every couple of days. So my weekly average is really high for my step count, which is great. So we'll just kind of see how it goes. But so far, I'm pretty happy. So it's just good to know that the more effort I put into it, then the better results I'll get for sure. So We've got 30 seconds until we start our burn. Morning. We're gonna cross the road right now, get over to the other side. Our burn session's gonna start in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Burn session's on. All right, kick it up. Heel toe, full extension, and pick up the pace. We want to get our blood pumping right now for the next 3 minutes. Yeah. I have a slight incline. I always seem to have it on my burns, which is great. So we've got about 100 yards till we hit the summit. Heel toe. You should be feeling this in your hamstring, right below your buttocks, all the way down to the back of your knee, upper part of your knee. You'll feel it on your calves. And if you're on an incline, you'll feel it on the front part of your thighs, up in the front. I think to get a little more movement in, rotate your hips a little bit with each forward stride. Move that hip forward. That seems to help me out and strengthen my lower back and my lower abdomen. I can totally feel the difference. Day 7 of this. All right, we're getting to that summit. Minute 20 left in the burn. Forty seconds left in the burn. Going downhill right now. Ten seconds. Push hard. Last 10 seconds. Ready? All right. Now we got 5 minutes on our cool session. So I've really decided, I talked about it in a previous video. I decided, hitting 10,000 steps a day, especially when you do this, for 1 hour, that's not hard to do. But I've tried to hit 20,000 steps in a day, realistically. It's like doing this for an hour, and then, just living life, working, taking care of the family, going shopping, things like that, moving around town. Nothing crazy, just normal stuff. And I think the highest I've been able to hit was just at like 19,000. And that was actually with a pretty aggressive day. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, we know that 10,000 steps is great for us. It's an awesome goal to have. Everybody should try to do that every day. Keeps us fit. It just helps out with our mental stability as we age. Helps out with our heart, cardiovascular system. I mean, really just everything. But for like maximum weight loss, you know, what can we do to get to 20,000 steps? Because I tell you what, if you hit 15, 16,000 steps, I think you're in a good burn, and I think your metabolism just goes on fire. But if we can get to like 20,000 within a respectable day, like, how can we do that? I've talked about this before. I think it's hard for people that work in like an office job or something to obtain that, because you're sitting down most of the time. I know I am. You know, I don't have an office job, but I kind of do. I host virtual depositions primarily remotely from my home studio, and then in person, and I'm sitting down during those depositions. Quite often those depositions, you know, during the day and then post-processing everything, I'm 10, 12 hours in a chair. Hence, office butt that I have. So like but for the person that does work from home remotely and does have an office job, what can we do to get to that 20,000 steps besides doing this in the morning before we start our day? Man, it's walking while you're working at the desk. And so started to look into this, and having the telescoping desk that go up and down with the push of a button, you can now stand while you're working, and that's great. That's totally awesome. It's way better than sitting. But if you were to combine that desk that goes up and down with, say, a walking treadmill, well, I don't know. That's something different. I think if I had that on my setup at my little home studio, instead of sitting on my butt, which just hurts my back in the long run, honestly, but standing hurts my back too. But when I'm walking, oh, that's different. And these walking treadmills, I mean, they're smaller, they're narrower, they're not as long, so you're not getting full strides like on a regular big treadmill. It's very controlled, but they have a remote. It has a little on-off button. And I'm just thinking, when I'm on the record, I'm recording everything, then I can press that button, I can walk, and then when I need to start talking, press that button again, and I turn it off. Man, that sounds like a pretty good idea. I think in combination, we got 10 seconds left. Combination with this 1 hour walk to start the day and having that, I'm gonna hit 20,000, maybe more. All right, here comes the burn. We're on. Hit it harder, faster pace. Full strides, heel toe. We're doing more of maybe a sloppy speed walk is more or less probably the way I look, because I am emphasizing on my hip rotation as I do my strides. So that is more of like the form of like a competitive speed walker, but this is more power walking, because not all that great at that yet. Who knows? You know, one point in time, I was pushing from real hard to go to the Olympics in archery. And to be fair, I got pretty close. But hey, life came into play. So maybe doing this at 44, I'll make the USA Olympic team. Not gonna happen. More like I'd be the water boy, which, hey, you know, I could do that. So, that thing does make noise. Let me try and do a quick fix real quick on the run. Only if I had some duct tape. Man, that would be perfect. I don't need this light right now, but it has a strap. So maybe as I'm walking, put this strap on it. Alright, just because I'm messing up my burn session right now doesn't mean you have to be, so hopefully you're still walking super fast and on the burn. I think that worked. Let me see. Yeah, that worked. Cool. Alright, now I don't have to have my hand on that. Like I said, I've got a new kind of system here from day 6. This is different, so just trying something different out. And hopefully soon I'll have another camera pointing down at my feet so you can see my feet too. I have the camera, but man, I just can't find the mount. Anyway, we have 20 seconds left on the burn. Ten seconds, push hard. Pick it up.
Ready?
3, 2, 1. All right, burn is done. Now we have 5 minutes on our cool session. We're gonna cross the street right now. So now, just do a normal pace. You know, if you can keep it up, you know, I don't think we should be walking slow during this cool session, but we definitely don't need to be at a ultra high pace. So let's just keep our blood pumping throughout it. And I tell you what, it sure is a lot busier during the daytime than it is early in the morning. All right, so we're in interval number 3 out of 7. We've got 4 more to go. We are 17 minutes into our session right now. So, we've got a pretty good pace going this morning. We might go a little longer than an hour today, just because of that. The sun's not fully out yet. I have the time to burn, so I think we might go a little over an hour today. Just coming up to my son's school. Let's show up there with this. Actually, no, you'd probably have me arrested. Fair enough, that'd arrest me. Well, so we're a couple weeks into the new year, 2025, and I know a lot of people had a New Year's resolution: get fit, lose weight, just get outside more, be more healthier, get some sun. Hopefully that's going good for you guys. Hopefully you're sticking to it. I know it's hard. It's super hard. You know, especially if you're doing this for the first time in a long time, or just the first time. You know, there's never a better time to start anything than now. Just do it, you know, whatever it is, the now. You don't want to sit back, you know, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now and say, man, I didn't do that and I should have. When I could have, I should have. Don't want to say that ever. As we get older, man, I tell you what, our fitness is not only crucial for our happiness, but your partner's happiness, your wife, your husband, you know, their happiness. Because I tell you what, as we both get older, no one wants to take care of us, and no one should. We should be taking care of ourselves, you know, and sometimes things happen, and you just, you need that. But if you can prevent it, man, do it. There's so much horrible stuff we ingest in the United States in our body that we don't even know we are, which is unfortunate. And fortunately, our new government that just came into office, pretty excited about that. They're going to really crack down on these food companies, and we're going to be more like Europe when it comes to what these food companies are putting into the food, the ingredients and everything, because we've got a lot of gnarly stuff that's outlawed in a lot of other countries. And that's a great move, I'm excited about that. Not so much for myself, but my two boys. 10 seconds left in our cool session. We're about to start our burn for 3 minutes. 3, 2, 1. Burns on. Let's go for 3 minutes. Faster pace. Okay. Full strides. Heel toe, heel toe. Feel it in your hamstring. Feel it in your calves. Push off with your toes a little bit. Rotate your hips. Really get into it. But I'm excited about this for my boys because I was in manufacturing for a long time and consumer products. And I've got a lot of friends in the food industry, and I know a lot of people that even make some stuff in the food industry that sell to consumers, and we should just be held at a higher standard than we are. We slip things in there because it's going to increase our profit margins while still obtaining the same goal at the end, making things tasty, making them look good, making people come back to them. Because if they don't taste good and they don't look good, consumers aren't buying them. So we use cheap ingredients that a lot of times are really harmful for us, where, we spend a little more money sourcing better ingredients. I think if you're honest with your consumers and say, hey, yeah, why is ours more expensive than theirs? Look what you're eating. I think if everybody was to that standard, we would have a way healthier nation here in the U.S. I mean, all you guys overseas in Australia, the UK, just most of Europe, you don't deal with that. You don't have to deal with that. And the nature of your lifestyle, it's just different. You walk more. Fitness is a more natural thing. Here in the US, our pace of life is so fast, it's insane. And we're spread out so far that you can't walk to the grocery store. I mean, I've been walking for an hour for 23 minutes now. I haven't seen one grocery store because it doesn't exist 23 minutes away from me. It exists a half hour away from me, a couple miles away. And when you're feeding a family, it's very, very hard to walk all that stuff back to your house. So you gotta drive a car. You gotta drive a car everywhere here. It's nuts. We've got 20 seconds left. Make sure you're really pushing on this. Ten seconds left on the burn. Push hard.
Ready?
All right. We've got 5 minutes on our cool session now. Cool sessions began. So, it's just different life being here in the U.S. than it is everywhere else. And I think we just need to be more aware, and more attention needs to be brought to it, especially for our children. Man, the stuff our kids like to eat. Whew. I just had to sign a waiver to my kids' school for something really basic that you wouldn't think you'd need to, but marshmallows and hot chocolate, and I think there was like a bag of chips or something like that. And I tell you what, there was the teacher had gone through and taken photos and put together like a spreadsheet that was like 4 pages long of things that she has in the class that she wants to offer the kids today. But it was a picture of each one of those food items, and then on the back, another picture of the ingredients that's in those food items. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this is insane. Like, we have to sign off on that? And it's not so much for the allergic reaction, possibly. Nothing was nut-based. There wasn't a lot of things, and I get that because, school, you can't give something to a kid and then have an allergic reaction and possibly get sick, and, that's bad. I get that. And so that was probably part of it. But I just think it might be even worse. Like, hey, do you want your kids eating this horrible stuff? Which, I don't know, it's just, that's crazy. So I'm happy for the new administration, and one of the Kennedys is there that's going to be, I think, just overseeing what the USDA is doing, and I think that's a good thing. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's really good, and we should be doing that. He's a very fit guy, compared to this last administration and the person that was in charge of that. Not the same type of person. The person was not fit at all, and didn't look like ever wanted to be, honestly, or ever was at any point in time. So I think it's hard to run an or be an advisor to an organization when you don't even look like you play the part. But hey, that's just me. Here, guess what? I'm fat. I know it. But I'm doing this. I'm sharing this journey with you guys, so you can, hopefully give you some inspiration as well, and hopefully you hit your goals and what you want to be obtaining for 2025 and live a different life. So hopefully it's working out for you guys. We've got a minute 45 seconds left in our cool session. Just strolling through shopping center, my normal routine. Yeah, I will say this, it's definitely a lot weirder doing this during the day. There's normally nobody around. That's just part of being a content creator in the public. You do things that most people don't, so you get a lot of weird looks. No doubt about that. It's crazy. I thought the sun would be up more. $50 left in our cool session. And of course, we're about to hit that nice incline for my burn session, as we always do. Well, I think we'll do things a little different today to extend this. We're right at about 29 minutes, almost halfway. So I think we'll take a little bit of a different route back. All right. Just about start the burn. Let's do it. There we go. Just burn, pick it up. Heel toe, full extension. Rotate your hips, increase your pace. Let's get that blood pumping. Whew. Minute 45 left on the burn. Keep pumping. A minute. Just got steeper. We hit the summit. Keep it up. Heel toe, heel toe. Full extension. Rotate the hips. Ten seconds left. Push hard.
Ready?
How you doing? Good. It's a camera. I have a fitness channel for fat people trying to lose weight. WalkTalkTime. You got it. YouTube. Have a good day. 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in our cool session. Man, I tell you what, that one kicked my butt. Whew. I tell you what else kicked my butt. It was my friend's 45th birthday this past weekend. His party. We all went camping, Lake Elsinore, at the marina there. And I tell you what the city's done to that place. Absolutely amazing. There was like almost 30 of us camping in these luxury yurts. Lots of awesome stuff, man. Good times. But, whew, I cannot party like I used to. That was the other thing. Alcohol, it's bad for you. But, you know, you gotta let loose every once in a while. And I don't do that often. But when I do, I have a good time. And kick my butt for a couple of days. And for whatever reason, you know, hopefully I'm not having a heart attack. My legs, we played kickball, by the way, too. Something I haven't done since elementary school. Adult kickball. And that was a blast. But 43, not fit for that. It was a lot. And my feet swelled up. And my feet would have been hurting for the past couple of days. And I told my wife, I'm like, I just gotta get out and walk. A lot of times when you're my age and my physical fitness level, when your feet swell up, you start worrying about things. But nah. Anyway, so Feeling great being out here, pumping and pumping again. No pain, no gain. Truly is something behind that. I don't care what anybody says. You got to hit that pain level and push through it. That's what makes you stronger in the long run. Been there, done that before, so I do know that. That was cool. I'm Mr. Flavorsmith, so I wanted to set up some of my portable barbecues. I wanted everybody to have something tasty at night, so I did 3 racks of St. Louis style pork ribs with a really good rub by Meat Church, and it was a hickory wood rub. One of their cheaper ones for some reason, but I tell you what, if you haven't tried that, go get some. Ace Hardware sells it. I love Ace Hardware. Always has what I need for my Mr. Flavorsmith stuff. Last minute, always got that specialized lump coal I like to use on a lot of my stuff. And huge selection of rubs and sauces, which I love my rubs and sauces. There's a beautiful house that my wife wants. Can you see why? That's just a great property. Yellow house. Front porch wraps around the entire house on the front. Baby, I'll get that for you one day. I promise. Just keep at it. Oh, 10 seconds till the burn starts. Another incline. Here we go. All right, let's do it. Pick up the pace. Full extension. Heel toe. Should feel it in your hamstrings, your calves. Emphasis on pushing off with your toes a little bit. Rotate your hips. Get into it. Move your hips as you walk. It's going to strengthen your lower back and your abdomen. I will tell you something else that's been pretty exciting is I've only lost 4 pounds day 7 into this. Haven't really eaten or drinking all that great. I try to watch it, but I'm not strict right now. I will be there. Just trying to play this out and see what I can do. But what I have seen that's really nice is my upper belly has gone down in size, as well as my lower belly. I haven't done measurements again, but I can tell. I can tell just by the way my clothes fit. I wear button-up shirts a lot, and they're fitting better, especially when I go to sit down. So that's cool. I'm very excited about that. A little pat on the back. And if you're, experiencing similar results, man, grab onto those little positive moments are what fuel us. And you need to remember what that feels like. Focus on that. That's going to help prevent you from cheating on your diet and on your workouts. So, minute 5 left on our burn, so keep it going. There's that sun. All right. Heel toe, full extension. Tell you what I would like to see. As people cleaning up after their dogs. If you have a dog and you take them on a walk where there's a lot of people, especially a walkway to a school, your dog poops, clean it up. 10 seconds. 5 seconds left on the burn now. We'll push hard.
Ready?
All right, there we go. Cool session. So, getting back to like that 20,000 steps, man, I'm excited about that. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to wait a little bit. I just spent a couple $1,000s on a battery backup system for my office because of all these awesome rolling power outages we're experiencing. Thank you to Southern California Edison. As soon as a weather service puts out a red flag warning for the county of Riverside that I'm in, Edison decides, you know what, even if there's not a breeze, as long as they determine that, we're going to give you rolling power outages. And I'm streaming legal proceedings live, and I can't have an interruption in my service, which I was experiencing. So, just changing things up a little bit. And we'll see how that goes. Morning. And, but I tell you what, that new system, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I can run my full studio, which is 3 laptops, 2 iPads, 2 secondary screens, 2 big LED light panels to light me up because I work in front of a green screen with a superimposed image on that green screen. And man, I run for 10 hours straight with 1 battery charge. That's amazing. And then you can charge it with a generator, 2 different inverters for 2 different systems of solar panels, and you can run 2 solar panel systems and a generator all at the same time. It's pretty amazing. And at full charge strength, thing gets to 80% in 45 minutes. Full charge, and I think in about an hour and 10 minutes. Pretty amazing. So, Blue Yeti, they make good stuff. And so that's been another thing that's been keeping me up at night, is redoing my entire office and rerunning all the wires and testing the system out and everything, figuring out what type of system I needed. That was a big one because I didn't have a really great way of determining my wattage usage that I was needing. So we just kind of overshot a little bit, which is always good to do because now I can plug in a couple refrigerators and freezer and, you know, do that as well, especially on the weekends or something. So, pretty amazing. Minute 45 left in our cool session. We are 6 out of 7 intervals in. We have elapsed in time 43 minutes and 30 seconds. So we are to our last quarter of today's session, right about there. We got one more push. Like I said, though, I think what we'll do is we'll elapse past that hour session, maybe go a little bit longer. I'd like to soak up more of the sun today, if possible. And it's not hot yet. So, it's supposed to be 80 degrees today, which is kind of amazing for winter. But hey, that's Southern California for you. Yeah. Let me show you. I'll give you a little view of, actually, I'm gonna spin you around this way. There we go. Show you kind of what my scenery looks like. 10 seconds until the burn. It's not too bad. It's pretty cool. All right, here we go. Burn session. Guess what? Back on the incline. That's just the way it is. Man, I wonder how stable this is going to be with this new gimbal. Looks like it's moving a ton. But if my background's not moving and it's just me, then it's doing its job. So this system I'm wearing, it's not crazy heavy, but we're right at around, just around 11 pounds, 10 pounds. So this is comparable to what I imagine a light rucksack would weigh. I myself have never done rucksack workout, but I would imagine it's probably similar to this. Minute 30 on the burn. Just hit our summit. Man, almost home. It's crazy. Spin you around. There it is. There's the city of Wildomar, Marietta, and Temecula. Whew. I heard that in the city of Temecula yesterday, we have 30 or 40 wineries. We have a lot. And they all had to get shut down, or they all had to shut down because Edison had shut their power off. And that's a bummer. It's just what happens out here now. So, battery backups, necessity, especially a UPC one, which is a uninterrupted power supply. That's what you need. You hook all your electronics, your office stuff, up into that. Last 10 seconds, push hard. You hook all of your stuff up to that. And then plug the battery system. All right, cool session for 5 minutes. That was our last one. So now it's just cool walking, just get our steps in. So I'll just be talking and walking, no more burns. But you plug it into that. You plug all your stuff into that battery backup. Then you plug that battery backup into your wall. And in the event the power goes out, it just automatically within I think they say it's 20 milliseconds, it kicks over. So, man, I tell you what, 20 milliseconds, that's pretty fast. That I've played around with this, and I was streaming on 2 different computers hooked up to the system. I was streaming through my hardline internet, all right? And I disconnected my hardline internet and my wireless router system using 2 cellular cards kicked in quick, and it didn't even interrupt the feed at all. So that was pretty cool. So especially if you're doing a Zoom call, you need that constant, and 20 milliseconds, you can't even see that. That's how fast it is. So it doesn't interrupt your Zoom feed, which is just super cool. So look for a system that says UPS, uninterrupted power supply. And some are 30 milliseconds, but you want one that's 20 milliseconds if you can. A lot of them are. But everybody needs that now, apparently, if you live in Southern California. I mean, honestly, even anywhere. Weather just seems to be kind of funky. And that's the phase our planet's in right now. Has been doing that for millions of years. We'll go 100 years with moderate weather and 100 years with some weird weather and mix it all in. everything changes. I mean, we've had fossils tell us everything changes, you know? The cores they take out of the glaciers and the deep ice in Antarctica, that tells us, you know, that's our timeline of what's gone on. And there's been, throughout the history of the world, the history of the galaxy, things have been crazy. You think it's crazy here? Just wait till we get to Mars. We try to change that planet. Yeah, that's a rough planet. Oh, we've got it good here. Our biggest issue is just pollution on, you know, affecting wildlife and stuff. That's my big thing. I think most of the nations are starting to do their job on not polluting as much as they should. China, he still needs some work. I know they do. I've been to China a bunch, and I tell you what, especially Hong Kong. I mean, you get inland from China, it's nice and clean, you know. Everybody respects. You can't even spit on the street. I mean, I think they arrest you. I mean, the Chinese have it pretty good. It's just you know, they respect everything. It's just the big companies that, you know, hey, they're not mandated to do it. Like, they're not forced to take better manufacturing processes. So, you know, it's just kind of how it is. But they are getting better, and I think they will get better. And I think things will get better for everybody globally here this next 4 years. But hey, I could be wrong. But last time he was in office, those were some good 4 years. So, but hey, I'm not really a political guy. I'm just a more see it how it is, and more of a businessman myself. So when something doesn't make sense, I don't do it. And I tell you what, walk talk time might not make sense for everybody, but you know who it makes sense to? Me. I figure, why not? You know, not only am I getting fit, accomplishing a couple different things, hopefully I'm inspiring you along the way. That's my big goal. My biggest one, though, is not a selfish one. And it's not for you guys. My biggest one, and the reason why I'm doing this, is for my 2 young boys. All right, 53 minutes has elapsed. We're gonna go take a walk for another 10 or 15 minutes, get some more steps in. So if you want to call it quits now, we've only gone 53 minutes, almost an hour. But if this is it for you, I'll see you on the next one. Please do me a huge favor. Like it and subscribe to the channel. There's going to be lots more stuff coming up as this channel evolves. But for the ones that are sticking with me, let's keep going. And I'll tell you the reason why I want to be doing this channel. The biggest reason for me to do this channel is I get to talk to the camera for an hour. And if nobody's listening on that side, that's okay. But my 2 young boys, 3 and 8 years old, as they get to be teens in their 20s, men, you know, with their own kids and everything, I'm an older dad. You know, we started having kids at 35 and last one at 40. So I'm a realistic person. I'm not going to be around forever. I'm more of a Great Dane, a Saint Bernard, a draft horse breed, and let's face it, big guys like that, you know, 6'2". I'm no longer 294 pounds, which is nice, but we don't last as long as smaller people. And that's probably because of our super big hearts that we have. I'm not sure, but morning. But It's going to give my boys a catalog of endless videos to go through and see and virtually connect with their dad. And I tell you what, man, I wish I had that with my dad. I miss my dad so much. He died in the very beginning of the pandemic, February 19th, 2020. And he's type 2 diabetic. He's a big guy. Always was a big guy. Didn't hold him back. He still skied. I don't know how he did it. It was funny looking, but he had a really good form, so it was very impressive. Everybody would be like, what the? It was awesome. Anyway, so my boys will be able to see. So a lot of things I talk about on here, it's not necessarily for you guys. You know, it's going to be more, talking to my boys. And hopefully you guys get something out of that too. But I wish I had that, My dad was a super big-hearted guy, and he was very successful in a lot of different aspects in life. He was in the motion picture industry for like 30 years. He designed and manufactured some of the coolest equipment that made some really awesome movies that you all love, and commercials and TV shows and music videos. And that's where I grew up. Rick Hall Camera Cars. That was the company. And fun fact, I was one of the youngest insert car drivers in the motion picture industry ever. My first gig I was 15. Everybody thought I was like 22. I didn't even have a driver's license yet. I didn't even have a permit. And I filmed the LA Marathon. And man, that was cool. That was really cool. By the time I was 16, I was in the big truck doing some pretty cool things. And so that was kind of cool. And everybody thought I was much older. Like I said, I'm a big guy. Always was. So that was pretty neat. But my dad took me out of school. Sometimes it was like 75 days in 1 year to go work with him. And I tell you what, it was great. We traveled all over the United States, the most beautiful national parks in the world, and we went fishing everywhere. Now, I mean, you could say, hey, my academics suffered, but the real world experiences I got to be a part of and get, you can't pay for that. I've experienced, just with that, with my dad in the motion picture industry, man, I lived like 6 lives. It was awesome. Since I was a kid, I remember filming Homeward Bound, Disney's Homeward Bound, Great Adventure or something, the first one, the good one. And we were up in Oregon, and he took me fishing on I think it was the Rogue River, and went on this jet boat ride, and man, it was so cool. My dad always did that. He was like, hey, yeah, I'll take that job, when he was bidding the jobs, because it was passing by a really cool place, a national park or something, or, oh man, I saw such great stuff. I wish back then, we had the photo and the video technology that we do now, like this. Film 4K on a little pocket-sized camera. Even if I just had a cell phone that did that, but none of that existed back then. Because, man, I would have such great, beautiful things to share my family and look back on memories and stuff. Cameras were hard to. That was film back then, not even digital, so it was really hard to do everything. And then, as I got. Also that, I was born into the largest fishing family in the country. My grandfather was Fred Hall of the Fred Hall boat shows. And so, it was a huge, giant trade show for everything fishing, sporting goods, travel, vacation, boating, camping, everything, thousands of exhibitors, hundreds of thousands of consumers going through the trade show throughout a week's time, 5 days' time. We had it at the Long Beach Convention Center, took up the entire inside, outside. Most people in California caught their first fish at our trout ponds It was a kids fish-free trout pond we set up, which was basically a doughboy above ground pool we filled with like 3,000 to 5,000 trout and then put ice in there with the pool filtration system for the 5 days. And then kids come up, fish for free, get a fish, carried around in a bag all day long throughout that show. I tell you what, man, PETA hated us. But, man, great experiences. And now grandparents are coming back to the show, saying with their grandchildren, saying, hey, I caught my first fish here. My son and my daughter caught their first fish here. Now my grandchildren have caught their first fish here. Now my uncle Bart has, taken over the shows, and he's rebranded it to the Bart Hall shows. And, so that's still going on. And I think maybe I'll take my boys there this year and see what that's like. It's been a number of years since I've been there. We'll just say that money does weird things to family. Even when you're not involved, it still does weird things to family. So if you're one of those people that says, God, I'd love to have money, I'd love to be really rich, and I tell you, it often comes at costs. And there's certain things that need to be sacrificed, and you end up stepping on toes or getting your toes stepped on throughout time. So just be careful what you wish for. But good times all the way around. So grew up there as well, and running around the shows on a golf cart when they were closed, having golf cart races with my cousins and stuff, and then sitting in the booth of some exhibitor that was cool to me, and I would be tying flies in their booth as like a 8-year-old kid, getting everybody's attention so people would stop by the booth and see what was going on. Then I was on the local news all the time. I had an archery booth there with a archery range and everything, and my family and I, my dad, my mom, my sister, and myself, we teach like thousands of kids and people throughout that 5 days how to shoot archery real quick. Come up, shoot 3 arrows, shoot 5 arrows, whatever, and you could learn how to shoot archery on a little recurve or a compound. And we would sell equipment there too. I'd be setting up bows for people. And man, one guy, and Doug, I love you, man. You're still here. Still a buddy of mine. But I sold Doug a bow and got him all set up at, I think it was our Long Beach show. And crazy enough, I married my wife, and he was a cool guy back then. I remember the experience vividly. Got him all set up. Took a couple hours to do it at the show, and I married my wife years and years later. This is 15 years later, and one of my wife's best friend's father-in-law, or one of my wife's best friend's father, ended up being Doug. And to this day, we chat back and forth, randomly see each other. I now live in the same city that he lives in. Just weird how that turned out. I used to live almost 3 hours away. Just happened that way. So it's pretty interesting how things, how life happens and how you run into people, and like, what are the odds of that? It's just crazy. That's life for you. I'm a big believer in seeing signs and then acknowledging that it is a sign, and then keeping your eyes open for the next things that pop up. That's just kind of the way it's always been for me. So hopefully my boys experience a similar thing. I'm hoping. We'll see. They're pretty in tune with themselves, and I think with my influence and keeping their minds open, and they're going to mold into some great men. So ladies, watch out. Not to mention, they're super cute. My wife and I are so gonna have our hands full with these boys. And my oldest, he already has a six-pack. Little jerk. Couldn't be more proud of you, Harrison. Love you, bud. And your little brother, whew, yeah, he's a little bulldog. And he's working on his six-pack. He's just a buff little 3-year-old. See, I have to do this. I have to do this. Just so I can keep up with my boys as they get older. All right, well, we have surpassed an hour for sure. We're about an hour, what are we at? 10 minutes and 12 minutes into this right now, hour 12. So, going back up the hill, that final stretch. And I tell you what, it is a hill too. I'm thinking our steps today. I know that I've already probably hit 10,000 steps for the day. I've been up a little while, so I'm pretty close. But I'm thinking right now, what did we hit? I bet you we're around 8,000 is my guess when we end up here. We're just 4 houses away. Thanks for joining me today. It's nice to do this in the daytime. Two houses away. How you doing? I feel that burn. All right, here we are. My gosh, I'm not gonna lie. That kicked my butt. All right, let's see what the pedometer says in my pocket. Not quite 8,000. Well, if you can see that. Yeah. 7,585 steps is what the pedometer said we went. And hey, if anybody knows of a good pedometer that they could recommend that maybe hooks up via Bluetooth to your cellular phone on an iOS system, please put that down in the comments below. I'm highly interested in that. I'm also interested in strapping my chest with a heart rate monitor and seeing what my heart rate is going to be. So something that then speaks via Bluetooth back to an app. That way I can run that too, because I'm really into like the statistics of what I'm going through. And I want to see, you know, at that 30-day, at that 60-day, at that 90-day, you know, 6 months into it, a year into it, like how my body's been reacting. I wish I would have started with that, but hey, that's just is what it is. So let's see what it looks like I did for my total today. I'm already at 9,697 steps. I've gone 4.72 miles. So this routine, just, you know, the one way around, honestly, I think that probably is right under 4 miles for the hour-long session. And then like this hour 20 session that we just did, that's going to put us a little over 4 miles, and maybe it's like 4.2 miles, 4.3 miles, something like that. Hey, if you got any value or any entertainment or anything out of this at all, please do me a huge favor. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps me produce more content like this and better content for you in the future. And until next time, have an awesome day and hit your 10,000 plus steps. See you on the next one. Day 8.